Here's Johnny.
From Hollywood, it's Johnny Carson's 18th anniversary special. This is Ed McMahon, along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra, inviting you to join Johnny with some highlights from the past. Featuring Lonnie Anderson, Mel Brooks, Rodney Dangerfield, Barry Manilow, Steve Martin, Bette Midler, Don Rickles, Joan Rivers, David Steinberg. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
I'll tell you that. I'm not used to that primetime applause. Incidentally, that was so good, we're going to use it on next year's anniversary show. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. First of all, I want to thank all of you around the country, those in the studio, for joining us on our anniversary show. This is the Tonight Show, formerly 90 minutes, then reduced to 60. But tonight's show is 120 minutes. And if you can follow that, you can follow Jimmy Carter's economic policies. The show is 18 years old, and as Lauren Green said to me, if it were a dog, it'd be 126 to you and me. We've had a couple of dogs along the way. Incidentally, as you know, last week, NBC had the Big Show on. And because of the ratings they got in that week, because of that 12-hour mini-series, Fred Silverman called me today, wanted me to have an Oriental eye operation, and change the name of this program to Show John. You know, this is like a retrospective. We're going to travel through our lives together tonight. 18 years. When we started, if you think about it, Ronald Reagan was an actor. Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer. Oh, if we could only bring back those good old days. Just before I came out, I was standing backstage, and these hundreds of guests started flashing before my eyes. Topo Gigio, Senior Wences, Wayne and Schuster. No, that was the Ed Sullivan show that was flashing before my... Get these shows mixed up. We started the idea of this anniversary show in prime time, and now everybody is actually doing it. Dick Cavett, just last week, did his anniversary show on PBS and showed some of the more hilarious moments from his show. I think my favorite hysterical moment was the time Lillian Hellman and Arthur Schlesinger had an impromptu egg fight. Did you see that on the Cavett show? You know, I just had a crazy thought. If all the guest hosts who have filled in for me are watching the show tonight, I will have a bigger rating than Shogun. You know, when I started this show, to think about it, I looked like Ronald Reagan. Now I look like John Anderson. Something's wrong somewhere. But I would like to take this opportunity in prime time tonight to thank all the little people that I stepped on the way up. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here. 18 long years, 3 marriages. I'm finally working for myself. You too. No, tonight is October 1st, 1962 was our first show. Now, that's a long time ago.
How long is it?
No, all at once. Give you an idea, Howard Cosell was wearing a training toupee. And Danny Thomas was the only Arab on Rodeo Drive. Long time ago. I looked up some statistics about the show. In the last 18 years, I've interviewed 4,934 starlets, all of whom said they would do a nude scene if it were an actual part of the story and done in good taste. 14,000 comics began their act on this show by saying, "I just got back to New York, crazy town." And 88 times Dr. David Rubin said on this show, "It doesn't cause blindness." Those are some of the statistics. You know, think about it. I've hosted this show through 5 presidents, some of whom had to leave office in disgrace. And I'm talking about NBC presidents. Well, let's go to the political scene. I don't want to not touch that tonight and see what Cheech and Bush and Laurel and Mondale are doing. The latest polls show that Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan are fairly evening. You know, it's a pretty close matchup right now. And it's going to be an interesting election because the voters have a choice, of course, between Reagan versus Carter, which is a fear of the unknown versus a fear of the known. You'll love that one on the way home, I guarantee you. John Anderson received some endorsement this past week from many rock stars. Did you know that? Yeah, from rock stars, I think James Taylor, Carly Simon, Tom Rush. Reagan's hip, too. He locked up the endorsement of the 2 remaining Andrews sisters and Patti Page and the Modernaires. And, of course, Jimmy Carter already's got a lock on Grandpa Jones of Hee Haw, so... You know, Reagan's advisors have been worried because Ronnie goes out sometimes and starts to ad-lib. And he's got in trouble, so they want him to stick to the script to avoid any more gaffes and mistakes and to protect Reagan in all future appearances. They're planning to supply Ronnie with an interpreter for the easy of hearing. I can get a Xerox of that one for you and pass it out. You know, the voters there's a lot of apathy in this country about this election. People are saying, you know, they think back and they say, where are the Washingtons and Jeffersons of today? Well, they're all wide receivers in the NFL. And of course, some people were a little worried about Billy Carter and his Libyan connection, and even a little concerned about Rosalind Carter. You know, it just occurred to me. Do you realize when she's out of the country, he's in charge? Well, tonight on the show, we've got quite a few things for you. Some new things and a lot of film clips. And as I said 18 years ago tonight, we will show no clip before it's time. Thank you for coming. We'll be right back with you. Thank you, Doc. Happy anniversary. Are you ready to relive your life again?
Yes.
This was always fun for us. We look back and you see your hairstyle change.
Yes.
And growing a little older along the way, but we've had a lot of fun during this journey. First of all, I want to thank Warner Brothers and Stanley Kubrick for letting us use a film clip at the opening of the show.
That was great.
Which is from that horror picture, The Shining.
Yeah.
People thought, you know, Jack, if you haven't seen that picture, we didn't hire Jack to come in and do that. That was actually in the picture. And he chopped through this door with this and was going to murder this person. And to break the tension, I guess somebody thought it would be funny to have him do that. So thank you for letting us. Now,
You probably interrupted a lot of things around the country during the 18 years.
Yeah, I understand that. We're going to start right off with a piece of film, a piece of tape that we didn't have to go too far back for this piece in the anniversary show. This was last week. We had so many requests from stations around the country As you know, Shogun was on NBC for, what, 5 nights running. It was a tremendous success. And we were talking about the impact that it had on television. So watch the monitors, and we'll show you the impact it had on our show just last week. Anyway, the influence of that show was so overpowering. You may have noticed that we replaced our regular door tonight with what they call a Soji screen. Isn't that right?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Greetings, Johnny-san. My name is Maureen.
Maureen.
You wish maybe to pillow with me?
I remember the show. Pillowing has to do with lovemaking, right? And that's very nice, but I happen to be married.
I am also married, Johnny-san.
Ah, you're married. You know, you're pretty enough to have been in Shogun.
Yeah.
My husband was in Shogun.
Your husband was in Shogun? Well, what does he do?
He was samurai.
He was a samurai?
Wow.
In Shogun? They get so jealous. Hardly touch the girl. Okay. We're off and running. You know, I do a lot of humor about politics, which I think you have to do. I try to play it even and not take one side or another. And this year's presidential debates, as you know, created a lot of controversy. And as I said before in the monologue, people are really kind of apathetic. They don't know who to vote for, but don't not vote this year. You must vote. And initially, the Women League of Voters, when they had the debate, had intended placing on the stage, as you know, an empty chair to signify the absence of President Carter. And we got to wondering what would have happened if they had actually placed the chair there and the possible consequences in the next election. So we bring you right now, Report to the Nation.
The 1980 presidential debates. An empty chair was placed on the platform between John Anderson and Ronald Reagan to represent Jimmy Carter's absence. Surprisingly enough, that empty chair won the debate and went on to become the next president of the United States. Yes, on that cold, crisp January day in 1981, the 40th president of the United States, a chair, sped on its way down Pennsylvania Avenue to its inauguration.
Where do you want this, pal?
Just set it right there. Do you, Chair, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States? Congratulations, Mr. President.
In his first 100 days as president, the chair made many great decisions.
Well, Mr. President, the Russians are massing troops on the border of Pakistan. Should we send in the Marines? Was that a yes or a no?
Time passed and the chair was on his way to becoming the most popular president in the history of the nation, when suddenly scandal struck. The chair accepted large bribes from Arab businessmen who were, in fact, undercover FBI agents.
You have the absolute right to remain silent. Any information you give us can and will be used against you in a court of law.
The chair was forced to resign in disgrace and spent the rest of his years in seclusion at the Western warehouse Casa de Levitz. A lonely, dejected chair.
We've had the great opportunity to present a lot of entertainers on this program very early in their careers. Some of them the very first time. People like Flip Wilson, Freddie Prinze, of course, David Brenner, Steve Martin early in his career, Barbara Streisand. The list is endless. And there were some others who didn't do so well, like, remember the Fremler twins?
Oh, the Fremlers, yeah.
The Phil Klutz Jugglers didn't make it, and Bill Minzhouse and his pal Sparky. You don't hear much about them anymore.
They can't all make it to the top.
But right now, you're going to see one of the most energetic, the most talented performers that ever been on the show. This is early in her career. She was with us a few weeks ago, the divine Miss M. And when you watch this early clip, take a close look at her accompanist that night. He was just a piano player. Well, that was vintage Bette Midler. And if you look closely, you realize at that time, in that early piece, this young man was just her accompanist. A couple of years later, he was a superstar in his own right. Of course, Barry Manilow.
We walked to the sea, just my father and me, and the dogs played around on the sand. Winter cold cut the air, hanging still everywhere, dressed in gray. Did he say, hold my hand? I said, love's easier when it's far away. We sat and watched a distant light There's a boat on the line where the sea meets the sky. There's another that rides far behind. And it seems you and I are like strangers, a wide ways apart as we drift on through time. He said it's harder now we're far away. We only read you when you write. We're two ships that pass in the night, and we smile and we say it's all right. We're still here, it's just that we're out of sight, like those ships that pass in the night. We're just ships that pass in the night, and we smile when we say it's all right. We're still here, it's just that we're out of sight, like those ships that pass in the night.
We're going to be right back. What would the Tonight Show be without commercials? Here's one tonight. Okay, coming up now. We're going to show you a couple of clips now, a couple of our favorite people over that appear on the show. Here's Rodney Dangerfield at work, who gets no respect on a very funny night.
Well, that showbiz, there's always problems, Johnny. Showbiz, forget about it. Last week my fan club broke up. You know, the guy died. You know, I've been knocking around for years, you know. Now, you kid, when I started in showbiz, I was in ventriloquism. Then I had to quit. I got too big for the guy's lap, you know.
Well, you know. How's your health?
Health is okay. We'll get to the health.
We'll get to the health. Didn't want to rush
Set my continuity here. You gotta watch out for this stuff here. You know how it is, don't you?
What do you want
I got other problems beside health.
What are some of the other problems?
I'm still drinking too much. Oh, I'm a bad drinker.
Bad drinker, huh?
I got loaded a few weeks ago. The way I carried on, it was awful, Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, it's good to be back in men's clothes again, you know?
Really flip out, huh?
I tell you. I mean, I want to relax. I can't relax. You kidding? I tried sniffing coke. That didn't work out either. I couldn't get the bottle up my nose. You know?
How's your health?
No, but drugs are bad.
The drugs are bad, huh?
Bad for your health.
All right.
Drugs are bad. No, drugs are bad. Kids, they don't need drugs. You kidding? Kids, they're wild enough without drugs. Forget it, will you? Why, my kid's high school prom, the king and queen were the same person. You know? But drugs are bad for your health. And health is important. Ask my friend the doctor, Dr. Vinny Boombat.
How is Doctor?
He's fine, he's fine. The doctor is okay.
How is the doctor?
I called him last week. As a matter of fact, I swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills, you know. He told me to have a few drinks and get some rest. Doctor's fine. When you get older, you start seeing doctors, you know, and I'm getting old. I know I'm getting old. You kidding? I walked past the cemetery, two guys ran after me with shovels. I mean, I know I'm getting old. My sex life is very bad, too. Very bad, Johnny. You kidding? If it wasn't for pickpockets, I've no sex life at all. I'll tell you, Johnny.
Yeah.
I tell you, my life, I have steak and sex the same way. Very rare. Very rare. Shit, I'm a bad lover anyway. A bad lover, I'll tell you that. I caught a peeping Tom booing me. Now, I tell you, Johnny, girls who like me are getting older and older, older. And I took out one girl. Who was she? Oh, she was old. Ooh. I'll tell you how old. She was so old when she went to school. They didn't have history. I'll tell you something else. She was fat, too.
She was fat?
She was so fat, she got the scale, a card came out, said one at a time. Now, I'll tell you, this girl was old, fat, and ugly.
Yeah, ugly, too.
How ugly? I'll tell you, she was known as a two-bagger. That's a girl who's so ugly, you go out with her, you put a bag over your head in case the bag over her head breaks. This girl here, I'll tell you.
Let's hear. How
She
ugly?
was so ugly.
How ugly?
You look in a dictionary under the word ugly, you see her picture.
When you're hot, you're hot. Okay, here's somebody else. He was on a roll, as we say in comedy. Here's somebody else who was very funny one night. Joan Rivers. Who was your ideal man? Who?
My ideal man?
Who would you like to really...
Besides Edgar and
Of
you
course,
two guys.
of course.
Yeah, anybody. I was here with Sophia Loren.
That's right,
The
the
two
same
of you
night. Right.
were babies. Oh, I mean, oh, yeah, oh, come on, grow up. You know the two of you. And there's certain women, and she's nice looking, but slightly over La Hillette. And it's just,
La Hillette?
Grow up.
Oh, no.
She's had it all fixed. Would you just grow up once and for all?
Oh, I don't get it.
Oh, I am so bored with
But she
this.
had it fixed so good.
Oh.
I don't care a few minor repairs here and there. I mean...
Right, friends of mine that don't fix themselves up, I
Yeah.
get upset with.
Oh, when they should, you mean?
You know, Liz Taylor, who is my dear, dear, dear friend.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. She would have been here tonight, but we couldn't save the whole front row for her. And it's just, oh, yes, yes. Oh, like it's my fault. I didn't throw on her back and force feed her. She put the potatoes in her own mouth. You yell at me because she's fat.
Well,
Oh, it's her own fault. We went trick-or-treating last night. She kept the candy.
Oh.
And,
Now, come on, I gotta come to her defense. Now, I saw a picture of her in one of the magazines this month on the front page. And, boy, she
oh, the
looked...
face, gorgeous.
And she had lost 35 pounds.
Well, it's like a drop in the Atlantic. I told her. We went out, but I
You went out together, right?
We went out last night, and I think she's learned her lesson, though. Because we ended up in McDonald's, and we had, you know, good spread. And coming out, she got stuck going through the arch, and it was, you don't know. And we had to grease her thighs.
To get her to work.
Edgar pushed, and I held a Twinkie in front.
Our own repertory company here called the Mighty Carson Art Players. Not exactly Shakespeare. We have a lot of fun with it. And one night we did a takeoff in one of our finer institutions, the telephone company in the United States. So we'd like you to meet a representative now.
Hello. We down here at the telephone company have been receiving a great deal of unjustified criticism as to our service. This is due mainly, I think, to a lack of understanding among the public, which I hope to clear up this evening. The most frequently asked question from our customers is, what is a message unit? Let me explain that very simply. We don't know. I would like to point out that the phone company is an equal opportunity employer. We hire operators without regard to race, creed, color, or brains. We feel the telephone company has made great contributions toward beautifying our country. For instance, here's what America looked like when Columbus discovered it. As you can see, nothing but a barren wasteland there. Now, here's that same area since the telephone company came into existence. I think the picture kind of speaks for itself. Have you ever stopped to think how the telephone benefits mankind? For example, it allows ordinary hookers to become call girls. By the way, when you phone long distance, you can rest assured nobody's listening in on your conversation except you, the party you're talking to, the operator, the FBI, and possibly the CIA. The phone company provides many services. For example, you can call for the time.
At the tone, the time will be 11:47.
One of our services, you can get the weather.
Cloudy today with a 20% chance of rain.
And probably the most important number, emergency. This is the number you call when seconds count. The house is burning down or somebody is having a heart attack and seconds can save your life.
Sorry, our lines are busy. While you wait, enjoy our music.
A little recorded music while you're waiting. God, I wish I could sing. One of the most common complaints we get from customers is that they were overbilled. Well, this is impossible because all of our bills are processed by the new XR37A computer. For example, let me show you how it works. This bill is fed into the slot here. Inside, it's processed with lightning speed and accuracy. Let me show you how that works. You can see right in here. This is three for that one. Now, I'd like you to meet one of our telephone linemen. It's the man who climbs up on those high-tension wires and risks his life for you. I'd like to meet one of our employees here. You see, when we interview for telephone linemen, we like to hire men who are not afraid of heights, as you can see here. Okay, go away, pretty baby. Yes, same to you. Now, down here at the phone company, we like to think we have a big heart. If you have a personal problem, we try to bend the rules. Like if you take this letter here, from an Agatha Spindler of Garden Grove. Agatha writes, "Dear sirs, I'm a poor 87-year-old widow. I just lost my job as cleaning lady at a Skid Row flop house. If it's at all possible, I'd like to pay this month's phone bill a few days late." Watch how the phone company handles this sort of situation. Hello, is this Agatha Spindler? Yeah, can you hang on just a second, Agatha? Oh, Agatha, we can't wait a few days at all. Have a nice day.
He walks a smear to the telephone. Okay. Some of our best guests are people who are not celebrities, but have unusual occupations. We had an 80-year-old man, I think he is, Bill Underwood, who teaches self-defense. His subject was Lonnie Anderson that night, who certainly needed it. Mm-hmm. Watch this. Suppose I was going to attack Lonnie.
You bet.
A thought which has entered my mind several times during the evening. Is there some way she could defend herself?
She can destroy you.
Could you show her?
Yeah.
All right, suppose she's on walking down a street, and I come up behind her.
You come up behind her.
Because that's the way I usually work.
All right, you can show me.
Put your arms right
Now, just very slow.
right round.
And suppose just.
No, pin my arm.
Oh, in other words, yeah, that's what somebody would do.
She's got you like that.
Now,
Put
just
this
very
on
slow,
top of
very slow,
thighs.
very slow.
Put
Bill.
this on top of the
Yeah.
spine. And you hit a nerve, and that loosens up the grip. Now, hold it. And all you do is pick up the finger.
Don't do it with the finger, Bill.
No,
Bill.
don't do it. And all you do...
That's my hitchhiking hand, Bill. Okay, good. That'll work. That'll do it. Right. You're free. You're free.
You go for the eyes then, too?
No.
You don't go for the eyes?
Don't be cruel.
Oh, don't be cruel. Don't go
be
for the
cruel.
eyes. I see.
So she
Let's
you
do
just
it
reach-
without doing this, sure.
Yeah.
Now watch.
Okay.
You're
See,
you
I
grab
grab
around
you.
there, and you hit a nerve, which is on the second rung there, with your thumb and wiggle it. And that breaks the joint of the clip. Then, when you've broken it, you pick this up this way, like a lobster claw. And you don't do anything. You don't move that. You bend this.
You see?
Yes. Oh,
Try that.
Or why am I going to try that?
Well, I hugged you a little higher, but I'll hug her.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
What?
which,
you have
are
to
you
get it.
right-handed?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't matter, but so they will
Where-
see. Now, you take your knuckle, and you hit it right there. That's not how I can't look.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Bill.
Okay, we're leaving.
Okay, back to reality. All right. You know what to do now, Lonnie?
No.
I think you lay down and talk it over.
When you're old, you can say anything. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. It probably has not escaped your attention. We have quite a number of commercials on The Tonight Show, as most television does. And once in a while, we kind of like to sit back, take a look at them, and do them in the way the public might like to see them just once in a while. So if you'll watch now, here are some commercials we would like to see. What was true a century ago is still true today. At Paul Gasson, we will sell no wine before it's time.
It's time.
Hi there, this little fellow is really special, and he has special needs, too. All dogs have special needs, and that's why we've developed a special dog food that's right for any stage of your dog's life. Circle 1 is for the puppy that needs those extra vitamins and minerals to help him grow into a healthy adult dog. Now this guy needs Circle 2 dog food for the fully grown adult dog. Right, big fella? Right. And for the older or slightly overweight dog, we have Circle 3. It has less calories for the older, less active dog. Circle 3. And our newest addition for the dog with really special needs, Circle 4. Yes, Circle 4. The special formula for dead dogs. Good boy. Hello, I'm Lee Aya Coca-Cola, chairman of the board of the new Chrysler Corporation. We've had some rough times here at Chrysler, but we've turned things around. We're not asking you to buy any new car on faith alone. We're simply asking you to compare. I wouldn't lie to you. Things are going great now. The cars are really rolling off the assembly line, and people are scrambling to buy them. Things are going well because we put out a really good car. Great mileage, especially in our test car. Chrysler is an innovative company for the 80s, with a proud tradition. You may have noticed we did a takeoff on the Chrysler Corporation, which is one of our big sponsors on this show tonight. And I think it shows a certain class for the Chrysler company. This was done about 5 or 6 months ago, and Chrysler is coming to their own this year with some new cars. But I think it shows nice style for them to let us go ahead and play this to make it. It shows they have a sense of humor. We get a lot of more material out of what's happening in the newspaper. You probably read recently about the failure they had, I think, at NORAD, when we thought the Russian missiles were coming. And here's an idea we had. If we hadn't caught it in time, what possibly could go on.
If the number you need isn't in your phone book, please stay on the line. When the operator gives you the number, please write it down for future use.
Operator, this is the President of the United States. I need to make a hotline call to Premier Brezhnev.
What city, please?
Moscow. There's been a computer error. Nuclear missiles have been launched toward Russia by mistake.
Okay, you want a Premier Brezhnev. What was that first name?
Leonid.
Is that L as in Leopold, E as in elephant, O as in Ohio?
Yes, Leonid. L-E-O-N-I-D. That's it, operator.
I don't show a Leonid Brezhnev. I have a Yuri Brezhnev and Mrs. Boris Brezhnev and a Dr. Ivan Brezhnev, a podiatrist.
It's got to be there.
Oh, yes, just one moment, sir. Here's another listing of Brezhnev. Chairman L.
That's it.
Oh, just 1 minute, sir. I'll connect you.
Da, Chairman Brezhnev.
This is President Carter. Our computers have failed again. Our nuclear missiles are headed straight for Moscow.
Holy shit. We'll be back. Short intermission. A lot of great things for you coming up. I dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. Come on, I double dare you. Okay, now, for those of you at home who just happened to join us on our 2-hour show, if you missed the first hour, it's really not fair because we had some funny things in there. So we're going to start the whole thing over. Just for you folks at home, sit back and watch in little condensed form the first hour of the show tonight. You to miss anything. I don't know whether you've ever seen this. You were off one night, and Doc moved over here, Tommy moved in front of the band, and it was around Thanksgiving time. Now, all three of us have had changes in our marriages since we've been on this show. I don't think it's due to just the fact we're doing the show. It happens. And it was that traditional family time of the year, Thanksgiving. And Doc was talking about that tradition. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? We're doing the show, of course, tomorrow.
I was going to ask you if you got your turkey yet.
Sure.
Do you, truthfully, do you help Mrs. Carson prepare the turkey?
Just like you help Mrs. Severinsen prepare the turkey.
No, there is no Mrs. Severinsen.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
There used to be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
The fact that I never helped her stuff her bird was one of our big problems.
I thought that was your problem. Well, now, you know, I forgot all about that. We've been together so long that I forget sometimes where we are.
Which wife are we on?
On various Thanksgivings. No, we're good.
In fact, that was one of the things we really thought about.
What? Did you?
I wanted an oyster stuffing in the turkey, and she wanted bread stuffing, and she got bread stuffing and a lot of money. You mean you used to argue about what you're going to stuff the turkey with? Yes. And that was one of the problems. She's still stuffing the turkey, but now with money.
Well, it's nice to know you have no bitterness.
Well, I always used to say, you know, I mean, you can have turkey and all that. I don't like turkey that much.
Yeah.
I said, I love lasagna. She calls up every year at Thanksgiving, says, are you having your lasagna?
They don't forget, do they?
No.
I'm sorry about that. Well, we're having a...
You didn't answer the question.
What, are we having turkey?
Yes.
No, I don't help. I don't know about that stuff.
Be careful, those turkeys, they'll catch you.
I couldn't go out. You know, in the Midwest, it's serious enough, and when you grow up out there, I could never go out. And some of the kids would have to get a pet turkey. And at the end of the year, you get attached, and you can't go out.
A pet turkey?
A pet. A pet, you know, they're not...
I mean, you know...
They're not very nice birds to begin with. Turkeys are not your...
They're terrible-looking things.
They're terrible-looking, they're noisy, and they're mean birds.
They are?
But kids would get them, you know. Now you got to go out there and kill them. I couldn't do that.
They deserve it.
What?
They deserve it. Anything that ugly should die. No. As you can see, I'm not too crazy about Thanksgiving.
You don't quite. No, you really aren't, are you? You're not going to celebrate.
I suppose you'll be home with the family having turkey. Just a typical American family.
That's right. You'll be out there writing the checks. Sending them for the stuffing, huh?
You will have written yours the day before.
That's right. Mine's already in the mails.
And Ed went to deliver his personally.
But what does he know? Tie askew and nose aglow. Okay. Well, I don't know about you. We're having an awful lot of fun up here, folks. Now,
I'm just going to the Zodi's Day Parade. Watch Big Bertha come by.
Look, if you really feel badly now, I feel so terrible that you're going to be alone. Would you like...
I didn't say I was going to be alone.
You just said you ain't going to eat no turkey, right?
That's right.
You can come over there. Would you like to come to the house and...
This is the first time you've ever asked me.
Well, you made me feel so guilty.
I mean, when you ask an employee in front of 15 million people, do you want to come to the house for Thanksgiving dinner? What am I going to say? No. You know what I say? I say, yes, Mr. Carson, I love it.
Can you come?
No.
We really don't have room anyway, to tell you the truth.
I'll be in the neighborhood.
I just did it because you made me feel so guilty.
That's good. I'm glad. Tomorrow when you're eating that turkey, I know you aren't that crazy about turkey.
Not really. Not really. I don't know. You just fell
Go
with the
ahead
habit
and
of
eat it and be happy. Look at all the family around you. It's a great occasion in American
It
history.
really is. This is from, I can't find, where's
Right
this?
down there. You usually find that's where people sign a letter.
All right, you're
right.
right.
After sincerely yours. You can always tell that way.
Can you give me whatever you're taking tonight? You want to give me a hit on that, whatever it is?
I can't give you any, but I'll sell you some.
You're not going to get... It's not going to get much funnier than that in 5 minutes.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Doc.
I've said it a million times. We got the greatest bunch of guys in this band, and I'm fortunate to have them here. And so tonight we're going to spotlight Doc and all the guys in the band. Doc, take it away with a special anniversary song. Mr. Tommy Newton, arrangement by Thomas. Thank you, guys. We were doing a Japanese bath scene with a couple of geisha girls, and Don Rickles finally got his that night. This was completely spontaneous. So here, 1968, a little Japanese bath.
Let your fingers do the walking. Hey, that really kicks out. I told you never. You girls go right ahead. Don't mind him.
You want that shot back?
Kiss my sayonara. Nice to meet you. I remember them on Guam. Do I want to take a bath?
This is, you haven't met it. This is Mr. Rickles.
Hi. One second. Could I do it a couple of minutes?
No.
No. Just give me a break. I'm so lonely.
We've had a lot of laughs on the show, but once in a while there have been some rather touching, sad moments. One of the most touching was this next clip, the commemoration of the passing of a great Hollywood star who was also the protege of our producer, Mr. Frederick de Cordova. Friends, we are gathered here today to honor the memory of a show business legend who passed away 25 years ago tonight. Yes, it's been 25 long years since we basked in the glow of this beloved beacon in this business. I'm speaking, of course, of Bonzo. Yes, fame, even such fame as Bonzo's, is fleeting. And for those few among you who may not have been illuminated by the brilliant glow of Bonzo's talent, let me pause a moment and view the master himself at work in one of his most powerful, dramatic portrayals. Ladies and gentlemen, the craft of acting at such a peak has never been equaled before or since that time. Here now from the 1951 movie entitled Bedtime for Bonzo, directed by Frederick de Cordova, I give you the star, Bonzo. Bonzo. Bonzo, though not of my faith, was a marvelous friend. Old friend, to honor your memory tonight, we have with us your still bereaved widow, Mrs. Bonzo, now Mrs. Homer Arthur of East Orange, New Jersey. We also are honored to have with us Bonzo's trusted friend and lifelong agent, Swifty. Swifty is no longer an agent. That's right. Yes, that's right. I know. I feel the same way. Yes. Yes, it's an emotional time for all of us. I know. Swifty is no longer an agent. He's a vice president at NBC. And the guiding force behind the misadventures of Sheriff Lobo. I would like to read a few of the many telegrams we've received from some of the celebrities who knew and loved this chimp, but were unable to be with us today. Here's one from Mae West. I knew Bonzo well, loved him dearly. From the very first time he took me up in the offer to climb up and see me sometime. From Henry Kissinger. Bonzo was a very nice monkey. Yes, Bonzo was born in East Kenya, Africa, to an unknown father and a swinging mother. Bonzo came into the world as Cletus Bonzowski. He worked his way across the Atlantic to America on a Greek cruise ship, passing. I know. Naturally, they are distraught at this touching moment. But he worked his way on a cruise ship, passing as a very homely cabin boy. Bonzo's first... You're married, my dear. You're married. Bonzo's first show business job came in New York as a monkey for a woman organ grinder. While he turned the organ, she turned the tricks. Bonzo studying acting with... We don't get off during the ceremony. Now we're going to show you some real commercials. These are foreign commercials that are award-winning. They are really, truly imaginative and wonderful from various countries. So just watch the monster, and here's some commercials from other countries. From England.
Would you care for a little hanky-panky, madam? I only offered you a little nibble. Oh, that's it. Munching hanky-panky, the new sweet snack from Pascal. Mind you, with those crunchy peanuts and those crispy corn puffs covered with all that caramel, it's a right good nibble. You'll never know how good it is until you try it. We all like a bit of hanky-panky now and again, don't we?
To bugs, flies, fleas, I only give the very best. I give them Bigol. With the other insecticides, I must aim at the insect. With Bigol not. I just spray it on corners, chandeliers, curtains, and it remains weeks working for me. Anyway, aiming isn't my very best.
Now watch this one next one.
新発売のお掃除リュックはほこり泥をよく落とし泡切れすっきり二度拭きの手間がいりません。
Isn't that wonderful? Here's one of our own commercials. We'll be back.
I just want to say a few words about diarrhea.
Okay. Hidden fantasies. For 2 years running, we had some people up from Spivey Corners, North Carolina, and down there they have a hollering contest, and the people are wonderful, and it's an actual event, and they're not professionals. And here's a clip of two people from about 4 or 5 years ago from Spivey Corners, North Carolina. It was nice to have you both here. Did you just come in today?
Oh, yeah, we got up 3 o'clock this morning, your time,
right,
and flew in. Is it all right if I touch you?
Sure, man.
Everybody in Fayetteville's going to go, hi, everybody. Look at this.
Okay, hang in. Not too, you're shutting off my circulation, Iris. Sorry, the gangrene will set in here. No, I'm just teasing. Tell people where Spivey Corners, North Carolina is, so they know that this is a real town we're talking about.
You go ahead, Dan.
Spivey's Corner is it's a little country crossroads in the heart of Sampson County.
Right.
And it's about halfway between Goldsboro and Fayetteville on Highway 13, and about halfway between Dunn and Clinton on Highway 421.
Well, you,
And don't drive fast.
You told me more about where it is than I really wanted to know. No, I'm teasing. We had, I think, the 2 years we had the winners out, and we had more fun, and they seemed to enjoy it. And I think the gentleman 2 years ago had not flown before. I don't know. One of them said it was his first airplane trip across the country. How did they treat you?
The whole time you're on there, I mean, you're on there, what, about 4 hours?
Something like that.
And the whole time you're on there, they're feeding you. I mean, they got little carts going up this way and little carts going up this way. And there's food on this side. Well, you know.
That must have agreed with you all right, didn't it?
Well, it sure did. I'll tell you.
You look like you enjoy having a good meal.
Well, I haven't missed one yet.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being plump, is there?
Plump?
Yeah.
That's pleasantly plump.
Pleasantly, pleasingly plump.
Yes.
So you had a nice trip out.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Are you gonna get spend a little time out here?
Well, they showed us the NBC studio, and that was really
Nice.
exciting. It's the only thing I was disappointed about is they had the Gong Show here.
Yeah.
Now you're big.
Yeah.
And it's really a thrill to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know what it's like to walk on the Gong Show set? I mean, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 12 o'clock noon, the Gong Show. That's it, Gong Show and Mary Hartman.
I see.
See, right after Mary Hartman's Johnny Carson.
Ah. But the Gong Show is bigger than we are.
And they wouldn't let me take my picture there. You know, they said no cameras. But
why not?
it was, well, I'll tell you this is really, can you imagine me being on TV? Can you really, you know? I've had 4 things that I've ever wanted in my life, and that was a brass bed, and I had major surgery. My husband bought me a brass bed. And now I'm on television. Now, this is not real, because we were on...
Can you hold it down, little Dan?
I'm sorry. You want me to shut?
No, I'm just teasing.
You know how
we'll get to Dan, we'll get to Dan in a moment. We'll get to Dan.
Well,
You see, he's used to this. Now, you got your brass bed.
I just met him.
Oh, you had never met before?
Not till the hoeing contest. But see, it was just Saturday, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're here sitting here on John.
You and Dan seem to have struck up a fast friendship.
Well, you see, he couldn't find me, and he lives.
What do you mean he couldn't find you?
He couldn't find me. See, I live in Fayetteville, and when we went into the contest, they just had my first name.
I see.
Well, his cousin, J. Lee Warren, he lives in Fayetteville.
Okay.
And he called his cousin called all the Turners in the book till he got me.
Right.
When he called, he says, well, we're calling, we're going to take you on Johnny Carson. I said, sure, mister.
You thought he was...
Well, have you ever had anybody call? Well, you haven't had anybody call you tell you're going to be on Johnny Carson.
No, I haven't. No.
That was foolish.
Dan, what do you do? Now, you're from where? Where are you from, Dan?
I'm from Roseboro, North Carolina.
Roseboro?
Yes, sir.
What do you do there?
Well, I'm a dairy farmer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dan, who takes care of your dairy herd while you're...
Well, I have some good help. It's holding the bags while I'm gone.
Yeah? Are you still doing the old hand milking, or you must have gone to machine?
Occasionally we do some of this.
That's almost a lot.
Most of it's done with machine now.
That's most of a lost art now, isn't it? Hand milking a cow. Okay, I tell you what, let's do. You want to go ladies first tonight? You want to start this way?
Would you break a pencil for my sister Audrey? You know how you're always breaking pencils?
Yeah.
Well, I promised I'd ask her if you'd break her a pencil.
For Sister Audrey.
For my sister Audrey.
That's so little to want out of life.
Well, Audrey doesn't get much.
If that'll make Audrey happy, certainly. You want to take it to her? That's all right. Sure, that's all right. Sure, that's okay.
I won't lose it. I got all kinds of room.
Oh, okay. Now, this is the first year you were ever in the hollering
First
contest?
thing, yeah.
But predominantly it's a male thing, or was?
Well, they have 2 divisions. There was
okay.
23.
23 men.
23 men.
Now, somebody said you do a kind of a holler.
It's a Basque
yeah,
holler.
Okay, you all set?
And this is mine here.
Yes, don't you stand or be comfortable, however you want.
Well, what do you want?
Whatever's best for you.
I'm all yours.
Okay. For you folks at home who didn't have your recorders set, would you do that again? That's
Sure.
Friends, was that Iris or Memorex? Okay. That's
I break a lot of things.
Boy, I want to tell you, my coffee cup has started to move here. Percy just sat there, Dan, completely oblivious. He must be very used. Most dogs would be 2 miles out of the place by now with that sound, but Percy just sat there, I guess, been through these contests before. Now, what kind of a special...
Percy only responds to me. I've heard other people have tried to get him to holler for them, and
that doesn't work,
it don't work.
That's interesting.
He just responds to mine, and so I'm just going to sit down here with him and I'll give it sitting down.
All right. That's a funny lady. Steve Martin was just on the show the other night because he has a special coming up, I think, matter of fact, tomorrow night, when he does all commercials. But I think it was about a year ago he came on, and Steve is rather complex. He has a reputation of being wild and crazy, but this particular night he became rather inspirational and shared some thoughts with us. So here is Steve Martin.
What I believe. What I believe. I believe in rainbows and puppy dogs and fairy tales. And I believe in the family, Mom and Dad and Grandma. And I believe in going to church every Sunday unless there's a game on. And I believe I made a mistake when I bought a 30-story, one-bedroom apartment. And people say I'm crazy for believing this, but I believe that robots are stealing my luggage. And that dogs are talking about me. And I believe that a solar eclipse is a beautiful and rare experience, while an eclipse of the moon is a cheap and common spectacle. And I believe if you can't say something nice about someone, you're probably talking about the Ayatollah Khomeini. And this may shock some of you, but I believe that the Ayatollah Khomeini is really Howard Hughes. And lastly, I believe that of all the evils on this earth, there is nothing worse than the music you're listening to right now.
Those of you who remember the old show of shows with Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca will know that Mel Brooks, along with Woody Allen and a lot of other talented people, Doc Simon, Mel Brooks was one of the early writers. And he told a very funny story about Sid Caesar, who was, you know, Sid's a very strong man. And in those years was working out with the weights and everything. And Mel was on the show one night telling, I think, about being out in Chicago with Sid Caesar. Here's Mel Brooks.
Sid was also the strongest human being. The strongest...
Physically?
Physically, that Golden boy. He didn't like a joke. He lifted the mental desk and the typewriter. I don't like it. He said, okay. No, don't have to be in. It don't have to be in.
You feel it or don't use it?
Very early on, when we did the show of shows, we went to Chicago, and I was writing for Sid. We played the Palmer House, the Empire Room at the Palmer House. And Sid rented a car, and we were driving in a car. Cab cut us off. Cab driver said things you cannot say on television. Sid said, moment, sir, moment. Got out of the car, went to the cab driver. Cab driver wearing a yellow hat and a little leather bow tie. And the cab driver is looking through this little clipper window. Remember those little clipper? And he says to Sid, more invectives, more, very bad cursing. And Sid just said to him, do you remember birth?
Do you remember birth?
Birth. He said, what? Do you remember being born? Do you remember birth? Your birth? He said, no. What? He said, we're going to reenact it. He grabbed him by the leather bow tie and began pulling him.
Pulling him through the little window?
And I promise you, Sid could have got him through, but I bit his hand.
Somewhere there's a very long cab driver back in Chicago to this day. Okay. Will you do a commercial? One of our commercials first? Okay, and then we'll come back and show you the problem of making some of the fun commercials right after this. The problem of trying to make some of the little blackouts you've seen on commercials. Pie throwing is kind of a lost art. And although it may be rather rudimentary, burlesque humor, there's something inherently funny about taking a pie in the face under the right conditions. It's not quite as simple as staging, and we're going to show you now. We were trying to do one with Carl Malden, doing the American Express, Don't Leave Home Without It. This is what went on in the rehearsal the afternoon, trying to just tape this little 20-second spot. You're away from home and your wallet is stolen. All your cash is gone. What will you do? What will you do?
Jack, lean back now.
That's Bob.
Lean back. Don't put your hand out. Just stay right there. Just stay.
Well, now we're getting Jack set. You want him that far away?
Until I get into you, John. Until, you start talking, then I'm zooming in, and then he can step in.
How does he know when to step in?
As soon as you start talking.
In other words, as soon as I say you're away from home and your wallet is stolen,
I'm coming right in.
He can come in.
Yeah, I'm coming right in on you.
You're away from home and your wallet is stolen. All your cash is gone. What will you do? What will you...
I need another pie thrower.
You're away from home and your wallet is stolen. All your cash is gone. What will you do? What will you do? You're away from home and your wallet is stolen. All your cash is gone. What will you do? What will you do? Four times. I think we finally got that about the sixth take. Okay, one of the favorite spots on the show that people seem to like is when we have animals on the show. I have been bitten at one time. Remember the jaguar we had on? Animals do strange things, and we've had Joan Embry on the show quite frequently from the San Diego Zoo, and I think this is with, is this with Jim Fowler, the first one? Yes. I think this is with Jim Fowler. He has some kind of an exotic insect with him, so watch this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that a prop or is that real?
Now that's real. That's one of the largest.
Well, that's a
beetles
toy,
in
isn't
the
it?
world. That's a Goliath beetle. Listen, let me.
Isn't that a wind-up?
No, but it's very gentle, very safe. Put your arm out because it'll show up well. No, I'm not trying to just force it on you because it is really gentle and safe. But what I'm saying is that it's. I think you'll realize when it's there a little bit more about it in relation to your arm, the size. This is called the Goliath beetle. They only live 3 months.
Can you imagine waking up at night and seeing this in your bedroom?
Oh. That wow.
How do I pick him up?
Eats bananas, huh? They like that.
Do I pick him right here?
Yeah, just pick him up there and put him right back there. 'Cause all you have to do, he can't get back there. In fact, he doesn't have any mandible for eating. For biting. Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. Here. Take your stick. Here. That's all right. Wait a minute. I thought he'd go under the stick.
Well, you thought he'd go on the stick. Sure, Jim. Now I know why Marlon stays in the tent.
All right. By the way, this can move quite rapidly.
I noticed that. Does he know the banana's there? Of course, they normally don't find them, I suppose, in nature, tied with string on a branch, do they? That's a very crazy tree, you know.
I don't think you do, but this...
What's he doing? You didn't tell me he could fly.
I didn't know he could fly.
Well, what else don't you know about him? If you don't know you fly, you don't know he could be poisonous, right? This is going to turn out to be the flying poisonous insect and has nothing to do with being a Goliath beetle.
I do know about this one.
Well, I hope you know more about this, Jim, than you do about that. Man, one of the great nature experts. I didn't know he could fly. You know, he could have flown from here to here in a moment. That's just a day stop from there to there.
Ah, now that is a very big rat.
No. This is a bush dog.
A bush dog?
She was sent to us from the West Berlin Zoo, and they received her from South America. And they're an endangered species.
Can you hear?
Hunt in packs. Hey, you would talk?
A bush dog.
They're not too commonly found in zoos. We've raised about 12 of them. You want to hold her?
Sure.
She likes you to hold her on her back and rub her belly.
Well, so do I.
I'm in room 607. Look at this, going to sleep. A bush dog and me one day. Came upon a bush dog and said, "Hail, hail." Is he dead? What is it?
Do a cat, Howard.
I'm talking show business, folks. All right, a cat? Okay.
They're funny. They have certain things they like to say, and Howard likes to say.
He likes to laugh, that's all. Ha, ha,
He
ha.
likes to say, "My name is Howard. My name is Howard. My name is Howard."
My name is Howard.
The male takes care of the babies.
How does something like that exist in the wild, though? It's so little.
Well, they are strictly arboreal, and they will stay high up into the trees.
Right.
And most of the predators would be down. That's its tendency to go to the highest point.
High
it
place,
sees.
yeah.
Right. That's.
Apparently it likes gray.
Look at that. Well, it seems comfortable, I guess. I could wear him on my head and pretend to be Pes Farker. No, he wore a coonskin, didn't he?
That's right.
Can't go any higher than that. What are you doing with that marmoset on your head? Well, it seems comfortable up there, I guess.
That's right.
Look at that.
And that's where they feel safe, when they're kind of up and look at something, and they like the hair because they would hang on to the female or the male. The male would raise them and carry them on his back. So they want...
Okay. I don't suppose... You name me one other place in this entire world of 4.5 billion people where a man is sitting with a marmoset on his head. And the odds of that happening, the possibilities stagger the mind.
If you turn sideways, it's cute how the tail is just...
Okay, I guess you can probably remove him from there if you want to.
He's just getting comfortable.
Well, I can't sit here the rest. I can't sit and talk to people with an animal on my head. Was he spitting? Was that saliva? They mark their territory. You mean if I run into him to a year from now, he's going right there and... I have never had a marmoset relieve himself on my head, ever. Ever. Remember that one? We have a commercial to do about here? My heavens, we really do. All right, we got one more commercial for you, and then we'll be back. Another little short piece of tape before we say goodnight. David Steinberg is known primarily as a comedian, but lately he has branched out and become a director. So we were discussing one night how directors can get actors to achieve certain emotions, to laugh or to cry on cue. And David is explaining to me here to see if I can do that.
Do you think you could cry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, but on the spot, every time in a
Well,
film?
not immediately, but if I had 30, 40 seconds, I could get tears.
Because you have to, you see, you have to think of something. You have to work into it, you know.
Gotta think
And
of
could you
something.
laugh? Could you laugh right now? Give me an honest laugh.
Well, now you see.
Well, let me see. You said you could.
I didn't say I could. I said I could cry. I
Okay,
didn't say
well,
I
let
could
me
laugh.
see you cry.
What?
Let me
We
see.
don't have time. See, now there's an honest. Now you did an honest laugh. You see what?
Yeah. Oh, that was honest.
You were amused.
But I know, you see, if you think of something. That's an honest
Now
laugh.
that's an honest
Yeah.
laugh. Now you see.
You see, if you think of something, you can cry. That's all right. I'll look. Let's say you're on the set, right? And and they say, action. You don't have time to prepare because it's costing you
And
money.
you've got to go right into it.
Right. So you think of something. Say, NBC has just called, and you've got to be here 20 more years.
Oh God. I'll tell you, if the next 20 years would be as much fun as the first 18, we would hang around. Mm-hmm. It has been a lot of fun. And thanks to all of you. Thanks to everybody out there who watches the show. And I don't have time to thank everybody on the staff tonight, and but certainly Ed and Doc, and Freddie and Peter, and everybody else associated with the show. You'll see the names of the people were responsible for putting this show together. It takes a lot of people to put it together, and the staff does a wonderful job. And we will see you tomorrow, or somebody will see you tomorrow.
David Brenner.
David Brenner. I'll be back in a week or so. Thank you for being with us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the show. Good night.
A part-time job reading to a hostile blind woman puts John Boy in the middle of a full-time emotional battle raging in her heart. The Waltons, Monday night at 7 on the Family Channel.